welcome back to another Camel Vet Talk, and in the Camel Academy, of course. Margie Bale is here with us again, Dr Margie Bale, Dr Margaret Bale.
Thank you.
So we're talking about camel vaccinations today, and I know nothing about this, so I'm really curious to learn about it. None of our camels are vaccinated. Well, that I know of, most likely not. They all came out of the bush. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to learning what you have to say about camel vaccinations, what they need, what they don't need, because some vets will just kind of go off maybe what a cow needs, maybe what a horse needs. So this will be really interesting to hear what you have to say about it.
I just said to Tara before, I'm going to be quite pragmatic about today's chat, and I'm going to start with, if you are an anti-vaxxer, this is not for you, and I can't help you. So, and I mean that. And if it's an anti-vaxxer for your animals, I don't mind what y'all do in your private life, but if you're anti-vaccinating your animals, I would exit now. Otherwise, we're just going to have a fight. So it's just
that's a great start for sure. You can't convince someone who's already convinced.
Yeah.
Who's that behind you? Is that your dog?
Oh yeah, it was he, Leroy. Oh, sorry, he thought he was in trouble.
Leroy, black. Oh my God! You can barely see him. If he didn't have eyes, you wouldn't know.
Good doing.
Oh, he's cute.
Okay, so let's go back to vaccination.
Leroy.
A couple of things. Now, everybody with coronavirus, with the Rona, is going to be sick to death of hearing about vaccines and vaccinations. And also, you're probably sick to death of hearing epidemiologists and non-epidemiologists, just the everyday Karen, talking about coronavirus vaccinations, right? The thing is with vaccinations, and again, this might be topical, it's really hard to simplify because it's not simple. So that's the best way to understand it. A lot of people go, I just don't understand vaccinations. And I'm like, well, not everybody can. Like, it's a really complex field of medicine. Immunology is really, really complex and changes, I'm not going to say every day, but every few months there'll be a new thing that we can research. We don't know not even half of what we can about either the human body or how the immune system works, okay? So if you feel like you don't understand the concept of vaccinations, don't worry. There is a little bit of trust involved. You are going to have to trust the system a little bit. And just think about, well, why should I trust the system? Well, we don't have polio anymore. That's good enough for me. We don't have measles anymore. We don't lose animals from tuberculosis or brucellosis anymore because of vaccinations. And there's all different types of vaccinations, and that's something that you really don't, as an owner, you don't need to worry about. So you do have to trust the vet in what they recommend. And don't be surprised if the vet just gives you an instruction and there's just no negotiation, because there kind of isn't. There is no negotiation around vaccinations, and that's what I think. And I also think there's also no negotiation around vaccinating your animals. Because it's a public health thing anyway, there are some diseases that if we are putting these animals that were in the wild and not exposed to high population densities, and we're bringing them in contact with other domestic animals, I think we have a responsibility to protect them and other animals against the diseases that we can protect them against. Okay, vaccinations, really important. Should everybody have it? Absolutely. If you're in the dairy industry, like if you're milking even a camel just for yourself, you need to have those animals vaccinated for various diseases that we will go through. But there's so many things to know. You know, even a word like lepto, when someone says, oh, we vaccinate against lepto. What type of lepto? There's different what's called serovars. There's 6 or 7, if not more, probably hundreds of serovars of lepto. So you've got to, it's a really specific thing. And even though when you ask the vet, they go, oh yeah, 1 needle here, 1 injection here, 1 in a month and 1 in a year. And it sounds like they're just making it up. They're not. And there's a lot of thought that goes into a vaccination protocol. So that rant over.
So I also think it probably depends on geography, like where you are in the world as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Australia, we don't have to vaccinate against a lot of the diseases that the guys in America and certainly Europe and the Middle East have to vaccinate against. There are some diseases that we can vaccinate against, there's some we can't, there's some, does the vaccine still work? But it's kind of, you've got to do best practice and go from there. Now remember, massive caveat for the entirety of today's chat is that there are no vaccines registered for use in camels in the world. Not one. Not one.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? It means, I think we mentioned this about medications. It means that no company can see the monetary value of doing all the testing to see if it works in camels, because the money is in industry. It's in the beef industry, it's in or cattle industry, equine industry, dog and cat, you know, that sort of stuff. It's not in a camel. They don't see the value in camels, as obviously we do, but they don't see the return for the investment of usually $20 million to get a product registered. Okay. Mm-hmm. So just to get a product registered for use in any animal species is at least 20 million. Now that 20 million isn't for the development of the product. That 20 million is for the paperwork. So you can understand why. And someone says, oh, why don't you just do a trial to get the vaccines registered? I'm like, y'all going to give me $20 million? Because no one's going to do it. No one's going to back it. Unless the head of Zoetis or Pfizer falls in love with camels, no one is going to do this.
Yeah. And as a little side hustle project,
side hustle.
Yeah.
Can I make handbags or can I get vaccines registered? So,
yeah.
And that's why when you go to your vet, local vet, they're not going to have a freaking clue. And nor did I until I started getting into camels. And thankfully, I've really focused on this in the last 5 or 6 years. And I've done my own little, I'm going to put it in inverted commas, trials on small numbers of animals. But to get something really registered, it's a full product analysis that has to go through blood tests in the animals, and it's a massive deal. So it's never going to happen. So let's just let that out there. Anyway, enough about that. What are the main vaccinations? So in production animals and horses, if you think about it, the big one that everyone talks about is tetanus. Tetanus is a bacteria. It's a bacteria called Clostridium tetani. And I'm not going to describe the bacteria. It's a bacteria, right? And what these Clostridial groups of bacteria do is they release a toxin in the body. As they multiply, these bacteria release a toxin and it causes paralysis of muscles. And in that sort of group is botulism. Another group is botulism, but the tetanus, blackleg, malignant edema, all these are called Clostridial diseases, okay? Now, that's a broad group, but that's probably the most important group because tetanus is everywhere. So you do have to get a little cut.
Yeah.
But that little cut, you think about being a camel, that's just one camel biting another camel. Walking past a fence, getting a tiny little cut. Do you know what's interesting? A tooth coming through, like a tooth emerging, erupting, is enough.
Yeah.
So tetanus, these Clostridial organisms, not just tetanus, the whole group, are these really nifty bacteria that live in the soil for years. And their whole thing is to get into a host so they can multiply and continue on. And that host happens to be a horse, a cow, a camel, a goat, a sheep, whatever. So that group of what's called Clostridial bacteria are really nasty. They will kill you. They have another thing called blackleg. I've seen it. I've seen it in camels. And it will kill them. It just kills them. It's completely non-discriminate. It'll completely kill. It'll kill a calf. It'll kill an 800-kilo bull. Let's talk about leptospirosis. I'm sure most people have heard of lepto. It is a zoonotic disease. In other words, it can travel from animals to humans. The most common infection from animals is through mice, rats, and pigs. Okay, so, and we're talking, in Australia, we're talking feral pigs. So what happens is that the organism is excreted in that host animal out of their urine. I don't want to be the one that says rat piss on the internet, but it's rat piss. So if you've got feed sheds that have mice and rats.
Good point. Yeah. And they're in your hay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that rat urinates or that mouse wheezes on something.
Yeah.
You could get lepto, a disease called cheesy gland. So, and its scientific name is Corynebacterium pseudotuberculosis. Don't worry about it. I just add those in to give you guys some value for money and make you realise that I am
you really sound like
no big words, right? Despite my friendly demeanour. Okay, so Corynebacterium, let's call it cheesy gland, is a freaking massive problem in camels. People will put a photo up or someone will say, oh, my camel's got a swelling under its neck. And everybody says, oh, it's goiter or something. I'm like, it could be, but it could be something else. Remember, Tara, when you know better, you do better. You got to spend the money on the diagnostics. So anyway, so say your camel's got these two big cheesy, well, they're big abscesses under the neck, some in front of their chest, but the main ones in camels you'll see on the back of their legs, halfway up their leg in the muscly bit. As exciting as it is that you want to lance these, you can't, because they will spread the disease everywhere. As soon as you lance the abscess, you open it out to the environment. You just spread it, as I said, like powder. And the thing is with cheesy gland, it stays on things like halters, rugs, ropes, hands, clothes, boots, yards. It'll live on wood. Okay, metal yards it won't really live on, but not everyone has access to metal yards and can wipe them down. So you can understand it's incredibly contagious. Ones that we do have, the next one is a good one if you've got dairy clients. Salmonella, okay? Salmonella, I have found, is the most common cause of diarrhea in calves from about 4 weeks to 4 months of age. You can vaccinate against salmonella, okay? So again,
would you vaccinate the mother? Or
yeah,
the
that's what I'm
calf
getting
first?
to. I'm going to talk about that in the next little bit. Yes.
Okay.
So then there's what's called maternal antibodies. If anyone is even remotely still listening to this talk. Oh my God. Guys, there's about 160, 180 different types of salmonella, different salmonella organisms. There's species, there's subspecies. There's a lot going on, okay? So the vaccination that I recommend for salmonella is a different company. And it's a different company only because Zoetis didn't get the contract for it, which is hilarious. But it's
because they didn't give you a hat.
Yeah, I got no hat. I got no pull in this industry, don't worry. So the other vaccine for salmonella is one called Bovillis, Bovillis. And that is the manufacturer. Guys, you can buy vaccines online.
I didn't know that.
There is a great company that I use.
We can obviously administer them as well.
What was that?
We can administer them as well. Obviously, if we can buy them online, we can administer them.
Yeah. But again, remember what we talk about, Tara, you can't administer anything if you can't get near your camel.
Yes.
Super important.
So everyone here can get near their camel because they're very well educated.
Yay. So it's a big one. So there's that one. We won't get bogged down because the end of the day, I'm sure we'll pop some notes in and it'll be out on the notes. Again, this is veterinary recommended. None of these products are registered for use in camels. I have to keep saying that. Okay, there's another one. If anyone is in a large dairy farm and has bulls that they're going to be putting over a lot of their camels, you might want to vaccinate against a thing called Vibrio, V-I-B.
Oh, damn. It cut out.
E-R-I-O.
Okay. It literally just cut out after you. B-I-B. So we want to vaccinate. Are we vaccinating the... Oh, it's backwards. B-I...
Oh, hang on. I'll do it.
Now, are we vaccinating... No, I got it. Did you do it backwards on purpose?
No, I wrote it backwards because I thought that's what needed. Anyway, okay, so Vibrio. You only need to vaccinate your bulls against Vibrio.
Yeah.
And they're only breeding bulls.
Yeah.
So this is not for everybody. This is for if you're running a camel dairy. And you've got a bull that you use for breeding, I would vaccinate him against Vibrio. Am I being overcautious? Yes. Am I working to the standards that they use in the bovine and sheep industry? Also, yes. Because we won't be taken seriously as an industry if they think camels are just backyard, it's a backyard business. Because I'll tell you one thing I know from working in camels in Australia and working with governments with camels, everybody thinks camels, yep, they're great, but the perception with the government is that camels are just, it's a weird backyard industry with no regulation and no standards or codes of practice. So I feel like my job is to at least provide camel owners with a level of veterinary information that means if they want to do best practice, they can. And once we do that, if it comes a time where we do have an industry body and and there are some industry bodies, yes, but if we do have a standardized industry body for all the different facets of the industry, until then, the camel industry will not take off in Australia. And I know that for a fact from talking to government agencies.
Like
So
anything.
all I'm trying to do, guys, is work to a set of standards so that if someone does come, they can look back and look at all the people that have got small camel operations or large camel operations and go, well, at least they're thinking about disease, they're thinking about biosecurity. Like, it's not completely random. So that's the only reason, because there's going to be people here going, oh my God, this lady just wants to vaccinate against everything. Why? This is so complicated. I'm giving you best practice, because if you're a cattle operation, this would be standard. Vibrio. And it is a bacteria called Campylobacter. But again, you don't need to worry about that. And it's a sexually transmitted disease. It's a sexually transmitted disease. So this is why only the bulls need to get vaccinated. Because if they're serving multiple cows and if they have this bacteria, they will then spread it to the cows and it causes infertility and abortion.
Oh, interesting.
Hey, just quickly, how would you like access to the full tutorial on this camel topic? Become a member of our Camel Academy now, and you not only get access to this camel information, but a whole library of camel information. The Camel Academy is an online portal for camel owners and camel lovers just like you, which consists of a library of camel information, including entertaining camel vet talks and procedures, camel handling techniques and camel psychology talks, access to the latest and greatest info on camel husbandry and well-being, even workshops on how to make your own camel equipment, and of course a forum to ask your camel questions to camel professionals. This is just a glimpse on what you'll get access to in the Camel Academy. It's the camel flicks for the camel lover. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. Come join us, our resident camel vet, and a community of camel connectors worldwide over at camelacademy.com. That's CAMELEER academy.com.